You're watching Color 10 News at 10 in high definition.
The state of Missouri, companies and individuals are accessing and selling your personal information. Good evening, I'm Ashley Katz.
And I'm David Oliver. Good to have you joining us here in a special report tonight. Our Kevin Schwaller investigates the information trade. Kevin, where are places gathering all this?
Shopping, driving, filling out forms, and getting on social media can all feed into this system. Any number of things you do every day can help build a profile of you that you never see. Tonight, we explore the world of privacy for sale. How much do you know about Shane Dodson? He uses social media, and he's selective about what he reveals.
I try to keep it limited, no phone numbers, email I don't use.
Despite his efforts, there is likely information about him out there Dodson doesn't know about. Companies are collecting a much more extensive profile than your Facebook page, one you can't see. It goes beyond a bio. Try social security number, criminal history, home value, net worth, your religion, interests, and much more.
Their activities, their friends, their friendships, their romantic lives are all being tracked in excruciating detail on the internet. It's pretty clear that probably not even your spouse knows how much the internet knows about you.
That's the founder and CEO of Reputation.com, Michael Fairtick.
Reputation.com protects your privacy and reputation on the internet.
Fairtick says you may check terms of service to okay this trade, or businesses can find some information elsewhere.
And so the guys who are buying and selling this information without your knowledge or permission and selling it to people you can't identify for purposes you can never know, what they say is, hey, this is lawful, this is okay, because the rules say that we're allowed to collect this, what's called publicly available data.
Some of that comes from the driver's license office.
I just moved here from Massachusetts a couple weeks ago.
Dodson is getting his Missouri license after moving here from Massachusetts. That means Missouri can sell his information with some limits.
Your personal information, the government, selling your stuff to who knows? For what reason?
Which brings us here to Jefferson City.
I think they need the whole list.
State Representative Chris Kelly says he'd like to make it illegal for Missouri to sell your information. And at a minimum, he'd like to stop other companies from reselling it.
There are 4,700 buyers out there, data miners and junk mail people, and there's legitimate uses like insurance companies and things like that. But there's really no limit on it at all, no reasonable limit, because the stuff is so easy to resell.
So we made an official request for records from the Missouri Department of Revenue, and we found that companies and individuals are making hundreds of thousands of requests each year for your personal information.
We basically charge what it costs us to produce that information.
That comes out to nearly $2.3 million during the last 2 fiscal years. Missouri Department of Revenue spokesperson Ted Farnan says the department is following state and federal mandates. Under those laws, insurance companies, businesses doing research, employers, towing companies, private investigators, and others are allowed to get your information. It's more difficult for bulk mailers to obtain it.
Our Compliance and Investigation Bureau can investigate that application. We can turn it down. We have done that before. If we find that people are not using the information for the reasons they've said, that's also something that we can take action on.
Now, there are theoretical rules about that, but they're all self-enforcing. I went to buy the list, and I just had to fill out a form and say what I would and wouldn't do. There's no way to prove what I did or didn't do. It's just absolutely an open market on personal information.
The addresses and names on the license are one piece in a patchwork, all about you. Fairtick says the material isn't just for marketing. Increasingly, companies are using it for more substantial purposes.
And the roadmap includes things like how to assess your healthcare insurance premiums, whether to give you a certain kind of job, whether to extend you credit and on what terms, what prices to charge you for e-commerce goods.
Kind of scary because they'll just compile what they want.
The Revenue Department wasn't able to give us an example of any place at a license office it tells drivers their information may be sold, and it wasn't aware of any way for most of us to keep those records private.
Kevin joins us now. So is all this legal?
The short answer is yes here. The Department of Revenue is following the laws as they exist. 97% of the money that comes into the state through this is supposed to go into the highway fund. Social Security numbers and photos are also much more restricted. The state can't give out that information unless it's for a criminal investigation, for example. However, the Federal Trade Commission is looking in to the major players in the data broker industry.
Disturbing information tonight for all of us to think about. Kevin, thanks so much. And we also want to know what you think about this issue. Join the conversation on the Color 10 Facebook page. Find the Facebook icon on ozarksfirst.com. Then just like our page.
Jamie Warner is tracking a warm spell in the Ozarks.
Hey guys, yeah, I actually made it well into the 80s here in Springfield. In fact, 80s area-wide. This is the warmest day that we have seen in 2013. Actually saw 83, a few weeks back, but we haven't gone above 83 in Springfield. And this is only the 4th time that we have seen 80-degree plus temperatures here in Springfield. Last year at this same point, we'd already done it 8 times, so sort of reflective of the cold late winter and spring that we've seen so far. Conditions out there are quiet and temperatures feel great. It's 69 right now in Springfield, and in the 70s still in a lot of spots. 71 in Joplin, areas to our north also in the low 70s, 75 right now in fact, and Lake Ozark. And temperatures aren't going to drop a whole lot more. It looks like we start tomorrow off right around 60. It'll be up to 77 by noon, and during the afternoon, once again punching through the 80-degree mark. Looks like about 83 tomorrow afternoon with breezy south winds, and the warmth will linger through Wednesday before big changes. Another cold, damp spell headed to the Ozarks later this week.
Thanks, Jamie. Well, 30 years ago today, it was a much different situation. A deadly twister swept through the heart of Springfield. Take a look at the storm. This was on the evening of April 29th, 1983. That tornado touched down in Republic First, destroying several homes. The storm reformed over South Springfield and then tracked east along Battlefield and crossed Glenstone into areas east of Seminole. The tornado was ranked an F3 and left a path of destruction 5.5 miles long. On that night, 1 person was killed, more than a dozen people were hurt, and around 55 homes were destroyed. In Branson, businesses have learned valuable lessons from last year's Leap Day tornado. Some are still waiting for insurance settlements, but the Dick Clark Theater recovered quickly. The roof blew off the theater, exposing the inside to rain and water damage, but the theater says it handled its insurance properly and was back and ready for a show within 45 days. Now, what you were just seeing is the Candlestick Inn. It could have been salvaged, but because of a long insurance settlement, the company sat empty and decaying. Now it's a total loss.
They have to allow some time to sit down and go through the questions and make. By doing that, they will understand their business better. They will understand what the risks of their business are better, and we can do them a better job.
Acres and Arnie Insurance recommends choosing a policy that fits specific needs and always practicing disaster preparations like tornado drills and installing storm shelters.
Tonight, new at 10 in less than 2 hours, the iconic Galloway Station Bar and Grill is going to close at its current location after failing to reach a deal with its current landlord. Packing begins tomorrow, and the bar will open in its new location in a couple of weeks. Our Laura Kennedy is here with the story.
Galloway Station has been at the current location for 10 years. Now they're closing those doors and starting fresh in a new building. Today, emotions were running high. The customers and staff say it's the end of an era.
It's exciting, it's emotional, it's all of the above.
At the end of business Monday, Galloway Station's doors close for the final time before they move locations.
We're going to start packing and moving starting tomorrow, Tuesday, and we're looking within the next 2-3 weeks to reopen.
And when they move the restaurant, they'll be taking with them all the memorabilia that makes this place special, like all of the hanging bikes. The unique restaurant and bar is an icon of Galloway Village and a hot spot for those heading to the nearby park.
Being next to Secreta Park, you know, we have bike riders, runners, walkers, all the above down here. The trail actually comes right next to the building here.
Steve Polzin is a regular at the Galloway bar and came in Monday to say farewell.
Because it's the last day and just wanted to come down here and get them going away.
Polzin says he will still patronize the restaurant at the new location, but says it just won't be quite the same.
It's going to be different because this place is just, you know, it's been here for so many years, a lot of history.
Regular customer Steve New says he will not be going to the new location. He spent Monday saying goodbye to decades of memories.
It's a piece of history. It's a good piece of history. It's a shame that it's closing down.
It's the end of this place, but we're looking forward to a new era, start over.
A new era to start at 1281 Republic, a blank canvas on which to recreate the Galloway charm and the owner's hope to keep serving Springfield customers for decades to come. The menu and beer selection will stay the same at the new location, and they hope to reopen mid-May. The building owner says he plans to lease or sell the building, but doesn't have anything lined up at this point.
All right, Laura Kennedy tonight, thanks. 2 Springfield schools will soon have some upgraded security. Today, Central Christian Church donated $14,000 to Boyd and Weller Elementaries. The church's donation will pay for the cost of cameras, intercoms, doors that have magnetic locks on them, and labor to install the systems at both schools. A Branson convenience store security camera caught a burglar in the act.
But police have not caught him yet.
You feel violated, you really do. And it's just like the nerve of people.
The big expense the store owner must now pay for the small items taken.
Coming today. Appreciate it.
Now more local news here on Color 10 tonight as Branson police search for burglary suspects. The victim is doing what he can to try and help catch these guys.
The owner of AJ's One Stop released pictures of this break-in. It happened early Sunday morning. The burglars got away with a 6-pack of Coke, a 6-pack of alcohol, and damaged the store's lottery machine. While it doesn't sound like much, the owner has a $1,000 insurance deductible.
We don't have thousands of dollars sitting there. This is not a big company. It's just a little mom and pop. It's a pretty cowardly thing to do.
Branson police say they have fingerprints from the scene. Anyone with information should call investigators at these numbers: 417-334-3300 or 334-1085.
Investigators in Arkansas say tonight more arrests are likely in a growing burglary case. This all started off as an arson investigation. Carroll County deputies arrested Daryl Allen and Tracy Matthews. Now they're accused of burning a home earlier this month and stealing from that home. Investigators say in Allen's house they found stolen property from many victims around Carroll, Stone, and Berry counties. So far the property of at least 10 victims has been discovered.
And here is Jamie again with an update on tomorrow. But what about today, Jamie? It was just great out there.
Well, tomorrow will be a carbon copy of today. Do you like 80s? You're going to love Tuesday's forecast. You're going to love Wednesday's forecast. You're not going to love the rest of the week, though. Much colder weather on the way for later in the week. Look at that coming up.
And now weather with Color 10 News Chief Meteorologist Jamie Warner.
All right, outside right now, if you've got maybe a little bit of time to kill, you might want to step outside, sit out on the porch, just enjoy what is a beautiful evening right now in the Ozarks, right about 70 currently. Winds out of the south at 10 miles per hour. Finally feels like spring has sprung here in the region. Well, guess what? It ain't going to last. We've got a trough now that's making its way into the western U.S. You can actually kind of see that right in there. That upper level energy will eventually lead to a much colder pattern here in the midsection of the country later this week. And this is what it looks like in the atmosphere. Here's our developing trough. Here's a ridge of high pressure. Here's warm air that's sort of spreading out ahead of this developing trough. And it's going to feel like spring for the next couple of days. That's the good news. The bad news is that by Wednesday into Thursday, that trough that is currently in the west will make its way into the plains, and then the energy that's helping to drive that trough will sort of pull away back into Canada, leaving behind a cutoff area of low pressure here in the region. And this time of the year, when you've got these kinds of systems overhead, you can count on colder than normal temperatures, and you can also count on the chance for showers. So it's sort of a double whammy. Not only will we find the colder weather, but we're going to find the wet weather once again, like we had late last week into this past weekend. And this will be the setup. We'll have that upper level low sort of stacked over the region. We'll have that cold pocket of air in the atmosphere, and it looks like Thursday through Friday and Saturday, these are going to be our cold days, and these are going to be our days with some wet weather, especially on Thursday. The front will move through, it looks like early in the day, probably right around or before sunrise on Thursday. That'll be our daytime high, with temperatures actually falling through the 40s during the day. Most of the rain with this system will fall on the back side of the front, and that rain will linger into Thursday evening. And there's a chance, as the atmosphere continues to cool, that it may cool enough where we see a little bit of wet snow trying to mix in with that rain Thursday night. And then for Friday and Saturday, with that cold pocket of air residing over the area and waves of energy sort of pinwheeling around that upper level low, there will be the risk of not only some cloud cover, partly to mostly cloudy skies, but maybe also some shower activity, particularly in the afternoon and in the evening. And temperatures Friday and Saturday will be running about 15 to 25 degrees below normal. That means lows in the 30s and highs only in the upper 40s and 50s. But the next couple of days look great. See how I ended that with a nice twist there? Overnight tonight will be quiet. It will be mild. Tomorrow looks like it'll be sunny. It will be warm with highs back in the low 80s. Tuesday night looks quiet. Wednesday looks quiet. I think the rain here is a bit overdone. There could be a few isolated showers developing ahead of the front late Wednesday afternoon, maybe a few showers and thunderstorms right along the front, but really not expecting any severe weather. And I think most of the rain is actually going to occur on the back side of that front during the day on Thursday. Overnight tonight down to about 59 for the low here in Springfield. Winds out of the south about 5 to 15 miles per hour. So that breeze will continue. For tomorrow, about 83 with mostly sunny skies. Looks like winds will be out of the south at around 10 to 20 miles per hour. So it'll be a breezy afternoon, especially 82 on Wednesday. Again, 49, that's going to be an early morning high with temperatures dropping through the 40s. 49 on Friday, 58 on Saturday. That upper level low begins to weaken and pull away Saturday into Sunday, and that will allow sunshine to return, and that will allow temperatures to moderate. Highs in the 60s on Sunday, so that'll be our pick day of the weekend, and then on Monday back up around 70.
Well, if you step outside tonight, it's still warm.
It feels great out there.
It's so crazy.
It really does feel good.
All right, thanks, Jamie.
Thanks, Jamie.
You know, these kids they love this game, you know, like just it puts it back into perspective.
The Springfield Cardinals paid a visit to a Miracle Field.
Dan Lucy's coming up in sports. He'll take you to that meeting and their big win at Hammons earlier in the day.
And now, the Chevy Dealer Sports Report with Dan Lucy.
The Springfield Cardinals wrapped up their 8-game homestand this afternoon with a 12-2 win over the Arkansas Travelers. The win evened up the homestand at 4-4 and evened up Springfield's record at 12-12. Texas League naming Cards outfielder Mike O'Neill as his player of the week, and he would produce early. Bottom of the first, Chris Swager singles to center, and O'Neill and Tommy Pham score to make it 2-0. Adam Melker then would follow with this shot to right. It gets into the corner, a stand-up triple. Swager scores, it's 3-0. Springfield had prospect Carlos Martinez on the hill. He gets C.J. Crone to strike out on a nasty curve to end the third. Martinez went 5, giving up 1 run, 5 strikeouts. Swager adds more in the third, deep to left, over the bullpen and gone. A solo shot, 4-0. It was 5-1 in the 5th. Springfield had the bases loaded. Xavier Scruggs takes this over to Casey Simon right. A grand slam, one of his 2 home runs on the afternoon. Springfield bombs the Travs 12-2. A few hours after the Cards walked off the diamond at Hammonds Field, they walked onto the diamond at Springfield's Miracle Field. The Miracle Field is a specially constructed baseball diamond where mentally and physically challenged kids can play the game like everybody else. Tonight, their pro heroes joined them. Springfield skipper Mike Schilt bringing a handful of his players to the field. They were the baseball buddies for the kids, helping the players bat and round the bases. It was special for the kids and for the players.
I was thinking out there, I'm like, I had a bad game the other day, and I can't get, these kids they love this game, like just kind of, it puts it back into perspective that it's just a game, and I loved it when I was that age, and I still do, and these kids love it just as much as I do.
We'll have much more on this on Thursday. St. Louis Cardinals continue their homestand tonight against Cincinnati. The Cards called up former Springfield Cardinal pitcher Seth Maness and sent Mark Zipchenski back to AAA Memphis. Maness 11-3 in Springfield last season, making his big league debut. St. Louis had Adam Wainwright on the hill, but Joey Votto gets to him in the first. He singles to right. Shin Soo Choo scores 1-0. Then in the fourth, Xavier Paul grounds out to short. The fielder's choice scores Jay Bruce. It was 2-0. Cardinals threatening in the 5th. 2 on, 2 out. Alan Craig up the middle, but Brandon Phillips with the stop and then dives to tag second base to end the threat. St. Louis would cut that lead in half in the 8th. Yadier Molina would bash this one off the boards in center. Alan Craig scores to make it 2-1, but that's as close as the Cardinals would get, losing 2-1. Kansas City Royals wrapped up their series with Cleveland at the K tonight. Second batter of the game, the Indians' Jason Kipnis takes Wade Davis deep to center. This one is over the wall and gone, a solo shot to make it 1-0. It was 4-0 in the 5th inning. Carlos Santana doubles into the right field corner. Mark Reynolds scores to make it 5-0. 2 on, and Ryan Rayburn would take Davis deep to left. This one is a 3-run shot to make it 8-0. He would hit another. Indians knock out KC out of first place, 9-0. Now back to our timeout. At 6 o'clock, we talked about the New York Jets cutting Tim Tebow. I'm saying the Tim Tebow phenomena is over. I don't think that Tebow will play another game in the NFL. No other team wants him to play quarterback, and I'm not so sure that he wants to move to a different position. I asked for your opinions. Dave kind of agrees with me on Facebook, not until he plays in Canada and then proves himself over time. Russ disagrees, like many tonight. Tim Tebow will play a lot more football in the NFL. It just won't be at quarterback, as he has shown the ability to adapt to the type of throws he needs to. But as an athlete, some team will pick him up as a wide-out, tight end, or slot back. Ray Ned off of Facebook says Tebow may not be the ideal quarterback, but he sure got the job done when he took Denver 8-8 after an 0-6 first half of the season. Last I knew, stats don't win the game. And then Bob emails as well, throws me under the bus, says, well, he has talent, he will win, he has fortitude, don't stick a fork in him yet. I remember what a job he did on the Steelers while at Denver, so he isn't an every down player, but neither is a punter or a field goal kicker, so look how they can determine the outcome of a game. Lots of folks disagreeing with me. I'm just saying, I don't think that Tebow wants to do anything other than play quarterback, and if that's the case, he's not going to play him. So.
Well, it'll be fun to watch, see what happens, All right. Thanks, Dan.
And we'll be right back with a quick check of the forecast. Stay with us.
are tonight's winning lottery numbers.
Well, glow-in-the-dark sheep. Have you seen these? They are genetically modified and put off a phosphorescent glow. They were bred by scientists in South America.
This is kind of creepy, I'm not going to lie. The animals developed normally without any kind of big differences health-wise compared to their normal counterparts. The scientists used a gene from a jellyfish, which is responsible for production of that green fluorescent protein.
Would you say earlier, David, that
I just made the point at 5 o'clock. We ran this story, and I said, we got a cattle theft issue going on in the Ozarks right now. It's a very serious issue for all the producers out there. We know that. Maybe give the cows this little treatment here and see if they glow in the dark.
Are we supposed to see them then at night? Is that the idea?
Well, they're glowing like the jellyfish there. So you're gonna, so if you go out to steal a cow, you're going to see it right there at you.
Or it could help them.
Or the farmers might see it too. I don't know. We're just obviously that's a serious issue. We're making light of the glow in the dark sheep there, though. Obviously,
they are strange looking.
They are indeed kind of strange on the forecast too. We got ups and downs, huh?
Oh, we do. It's nice to see 80s. We'll see another couple of days of 80-degree warmth here in the Ozarks, but once again, another blast of cold just in time for the weekend, and with it, we'll see some rain as well.
All right, thanks, Jamie.
And thank you for staying up with us tonight. We'll see you back here tomorrow.
Good night, folks.